Alright, so I decided a little while ago I was going to start making videos on this channel again, and I was going to talk about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but instead we're going to talk about Creator Clash and influencer boxing. I don't know why. I don't know, what I'm allowed to show of this. I paid for it, and there's clips on YouTube, so you probably already know, but Dad just absolutely destroyed Matt Watson with no effort. It was just, he went in and he ended that fight. This was the first fight of the night too, so it was just first round TKO at the beginning of the night. It was crazy. And Dad, I wouldn't be surprised if he got back in the ring at some point. I think he wants to actually do boxing, and he showed some ability, so I wouldn't be shocked. This was probably the best fight of the night, in my opinion. It was just intense and genuinely entertaining to watch. This felt almost like pro boxing, as if pro boxers weren't as good. With this to be the second fight, I was expecting a lot from this event, because we had two great fights. Props to Ryan for just sticking it out. He was determined to finish this fight, and he did. He did great. Alex ended up getting the win, but they both did amazing in this fight. And honestly, these are just two warriors, and it was just amazing to watch. So this was, I think this is one of the first. I know it's not the first, but it's one of the first heavyweight fights in YouTube boxing. This one had a lot of different weight classes in it, and they were fighting with headgear, which is, safety first. And DJ Welch showed a fighting instinct that it just didn't look like Eric had. They both did great. This is a heavyweight fight, and they were throwing like crazy, so those punches hurt. And DJ dropped him in the first round, and then after that he went for it. He just didn't stop. Round 2 started. Eric was doing a little better, but DJ Welch was out for blood, and he knocked him down again. And then at the end of the second round, we're going in for round 3. DJ's probably gonna stop him, and then the fight gets called off. And honestly, that was the right choice. Eric did great. He recovered from both of those knockdowns really well, and he never gave up. And like I said, they did the right thing calling it. Props to DJ Welch. He showed some real natural ability, and I'd love to see him on another card, honestly. Yeah, this fight hurts. This is shocking that this fight got sanctioned. Honestly, all the other ones kind of make sense. This one doesn't even make sense. So we saw I Did a Thing versus the Odd Ones Out. So Alex from I Did a Thing, he looked good. He actually looked like he was showing some knowledge of the sport. He knew the basics, but he didn't really need to know the basics with James, Odd Ones Out, because as hard as he tried, Odd Ones Out showed some level of knowing some of the basics. He looked like he had been training at least a little bit, but he could not get away from the reach of Alex, which just shows how bad this fight was. Alex was just putting the reach on him. He had long arms. He had to have had a huge reach, and James just couldn't get away from it. Overall, I was impressed with Creator Clash. This fight just ain't it. This fight ain't it. I used to love watching the Odd Ones Out, so seeing him in there with a guy who could have sprawled him out on the mat in a minute was not fun to watch. But luckily, Alex is a great guy, and he hit him once, and he backed up. He backed off. So I'm telling you, I don't think he was going hard on Odd Ones Out, and I don't think Odd Ones Out landed a good punch. I think he got one right hand in there, and that was about it. He threw a couple jabs that missed, but I mean, he wasn't terrible. He showed some knowledge, but he wasn't moving his head. He was super stiff, and all of that with a lack of defense. Alex's jabs were just getting through that guard, destroying him. And yeah, this fight got called off in the first round, TKO for I Did a Thing. And honestly, if he wants to, he could easily get on the next YouTube boxing card and maybe show some real ability in this sport. He might be one of the next upcoming prospects in YouTube boxing. You never know. I'm not exactly sure, but I think this is the first female fight in influencer boxing, and it did not disappoint. These two never once stopped throwing punches. Whether they were landing or not, they were throwing, and it was amazing. We saw 4 rounds of this, and it was just great the whole time. YodelingHaley did kind of become a bit of a punching bag in the last 2 rounds because she just got tired. JustaMinx was tired too, but they were both still throwing. They were both in it the whole time. This was one of the better fights of the night because it was just fun to watch. Neither of them really had the basics down, but they actually both did great. Like they both did really good, and I feel like with a little bit more training, these two could actually become like the faces of female influencer boxing. These two will be the ones to beat though. For the next round of female influencers that come into boxing, these two will be the ones to beat. Both have some great ability, even if it is a little sloppy. Nothing but respect to both of them, honestly. And this is just another amazing fight for Creator Clash. Hundar versus AB. This was the first and I think only fight on the card where I knew nothing about either of the two people. So I wasn't super interested in this one or invested in it. But, you know, it happened. We saw one of the most even fights at the beginning, with them both taking their time, neither of them really showing the other one up. But as the fight continued, AB tired a lot. Hundar tired a little as well, but he was still there. He was standing in front of him, throwing body shots, which, you know, those body shots were devastating after 5 rounds. And that's what we saw. In the 5th round, we saw a TKO because Hundar was throwing these big body shots. And AB he couldn't move. He couldn't get out of the way. He was too tired to do anything. But honestly, they both did great. There was nobody, in my opinion, on this whole card that really just, like, didn't train. It looked like everybody put effort into it, unlike one of the other boxing events we've had this year. But, you know, they did great. And I don't really know where they fit into another boxing card, but I wouldn't be surprised to see either of these guys back in the ring sometime this year. This one's a little like the odd ones out, and I did a thing fight. It wasn't even. There was a 50-pound weight difference between Harley and Aaron Hansen, bro. Why? Honestly, though, Aaron, you know, he went in there with that weight difference and a skill disadvantage. It was honorable, and he did pretty good. He stood his ground to the best of his ability, and honestly, I think everyone has to be proud of both of these guys. They both put in their A game. Aaron stood up for as long as he could. That whole 1st round was him just staying in there, but it was inevitable. Realistically, it was inevitable that Harley would win this fight, and he was putting that pressure on when the fight ended in round 2. It was a pretty interesting call out afterwards, I'm just saying. So I kind of forgot about this fight, honestly. This was a weird one. Neither of them really looked like they wanted to be there. Neither of them really looked like they were super invested in it. And neither of them really showed crazy technique. But what we did see was, A, they both trained, and B, Michael Reeves wanted to win this fight. It was just insane. Michael, like, flipped a switch, and he went for it. He had some amazing right hands, and Graham he just could not match the output. Like, that output was just not on the same level. Graham had a few good jabs in there that I remember, but Michael Reeves was just throwing the whole time. And it led to a crazy and unexpected stoppage. This was like one of the fights that I was like, okay, this is going to decision. They're going to tire out in like round 3. It's going to be a boring last 2 rounds. But it just wasn't. Like, there was a stoppage in Michael Reeves versus Graham Stephan. What? And honestly, I could see Michael Reeves back in the ring, you know, if it wasn't for...
What we all want to know now is, are you going to be boxing again after this?
Oh, fuck no!
Alright, your main event, the one we've all been waiting for, what the night has built up to. The man with 10 years of boxing experience versus Content Cop. Honestly though, Idubbbz impressed me a lot. I went into this expecting Dr. Mike to be good. I did not go into this expecting Idubbbz to have any chance in this fight. He had no right to be in the ring, realistically. And while Dr. Mike, in my opinion, won every single round, it was close at times. There were times where it was close, and Idubbbz showed some real fighting spirit. He had the spirit to just stay in there. He never gave up once. Even when he was losing, he never gave up. There was like a weird thing in this fight where this was originally 4 3-minute rounds, and they switched it to 5 2-minute rounds, which was a bit weird. They like switched it after round 2, which, like I said, a bit weird, but you know, they rolled with it and everything went great. Like I said, it was close at times, and Idubbbz showed some ability to, you know, maybe win a fight in the future. So I would not be shocked if there was a rematch between these two, or if, you know, we saw these two headline another card in the future, because there might be some draw now if Idubbbz can get his first win. And I mean, you never know. Creator Clash 2, I wouldn't be shocked if it happened, honestly. Alright, so honestly, this card was just a ton of fun to watch. Most of the fights were pretty evenly balanced, and the ones that weren't were still fun to watch. Nobody got seriously hurt. It looked like everybody was having a good time, and it looked like everybody took it serious too. People found that they really liked this sport. Some people also found that they didn't want to do this again. But I think we got introduced to some of the newest prospects in YouTube boxing as well. I'd love to see Ryan or Alex back in the ring. Along with I Did a Thing, he can get on any card he wants, in my opinion. Harley, who called out Dr. Disrespect, which was insane. I would love to see that fight on like a Creator Clash 2 or something. And like I said, JustaMinx or YodelingHaley, one of those two will lead the wave of female influencers getting into boxing. All in all, this was just a ton of fun. I loved every second of it. The commentary team was amazing. FAZE Sensei, Moist Critical, and the Wade Concept, they all did great. And honestly, this had to have been one of the best YouTube boxing events since Logan KSI 2, which was way back in 2019. I don't even know what else to say. I had a ton of fun with it. I hope you guys who watched it had a ton of fun with it. And also, I'm probably going to start making videos on this channel again. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, that's all. Bye.